Anything great, I just didn't share it with him. I was punishing him. But I think in the process, I was punishing myself. I would never date someone that was HIV positive. He found out he was HIV positive 2 months after we met. Every single thing that I had feared came to pass in that one encounter.
And welcome back to Real Talk with Glenn Bean. I think this is probably one of the most interesting guests that I'm going to have because I know him fairly well. He wrote a wonderful book, Words Never Spoken. My approach today, as I usually do, is to find out about the person, to find about their thoughts, their thinking, right on through to their spirituality and what is their take with that, so that their lives, their circumstances, their hurdles and successes can act as a blueprint for the rest of us. So here we are. Let me turn around because this is going to be good. So I have to face him now. So Craig, you're an author.
Now I am, yeah.
Playwright.
Absolutely.
Entrepreneur.
Yes.
But clearly from reading the book, it just didn't happen for you.
Right.
It was a journey.
Yeah.
Your childhood, particularly from your parents. Give us a brief overview of what that was.
I had an amazing childhood. My father always told me anything that I wanted to do, I could do. And he used to tell me all the time, you know, you're smart, you know, and you have more education than we do. So if we came here and we were able to do all of the things that we've been able to do, then you should be able to come here. And so he was always the one to tell me, I love you. He was very vocal about it.
Even though he gave you the positive affirmation that you were looking for to help shape that character, to give self-worth, there were some things that were said and done that actually shook you at the core.
Absolutely.
What was that?
Once he got married again, it was almost like his priorities shifted. And so I was no longer, and I'm my father's only child, so I was no longer the centerpiece, if you will. Like once he got married, that became the priority. Now granted, I was on my way to college when that happened, but there was still certain things that should have never changed. Anything great, I just didn't share it with him because it was almost like I was punishing him.
Were you really trying to punish him or were you punishing yourself?
I was punishing him, but I think in the process,
You punished.
I was punishing myself too, because I didn't realize that I was still angry with him, that I was harboring feelings and resentment towards him because of those Christmases where he watched her give everybody a gift in the house except me. And it wasn't just the Christmas stuff, but it was also him removing me from his life insurance policy and taking me off of the house and putting her on the house. So if something was to happen,
you became secondary.
Yeah.
And so because you were second in your dad's life, you became second in all of these other relationships too.
Exactly.
We're going to get to this juicy relationship. Okay. So, but let's talk about mom a little bit.
My mom wasn't as vocal as my father, but my mom would show me in ways through things. She would always send me a card, like she just sent me a card the other day. And as a child, I always knew that I would do something impactful, something that would change people, but I didn't know what that was, you know, and I didn't know how to articulate it as a child. So as a child, I used to say, oh, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be rich. And she used to say, stop saying that. Why are you saying that? Stop dreaming so big. I remember in particular, she said to me, stop dreaming so big.
Mom always tried to give the best
Always.
advice. And even if she was displeased about something, she told you why.
A woman's love is the closest we'll ever come to unconditional love. And that's true of your mother, that's true of an aunt, a grandmother, the woman that you love, a sister. When a woman loves a man, she's going to love you unconditionally.
You had a lifelong journey with dealing with this issue.
Yeah.
The issue being?
Struggling with being gay and coming to terms with it. The book opens with me talking about all of those things that I tried to suppress. All of the whispers that were there, all of the evidence that was there that I was gay, that pointed to it, but all of the efforts that I made to try to sweep it under the rug and pretend that it wasn't there. It was moving here to Atlanta to pursue a career as a songwriter that I came to terms with. Not even came to terms. I confronted it because it still was a journey to come to terms with it.
What was your church like as a child? Did that assist you in your spirituality? Did that assist in building your character and self-esteem, or was it as hurtful, as damaging? Because I'm getting to all the things that helped to shape you to who you were, because then that helps to explain some of the things you experienced later on in life.
My grandmother actually taught me to pray. And so everything that I pretty much know about spirituality, the majority of it comes from her.
Then you went off to college.
Yeah.
There was one particular young lady who ended up being your good friends, and you got into mischievous.
I got into the check writing and the credit card stuff. These were old checks that, from an account that I had that was no longer open, that I went on a shopping spree and bought all of these things. But then same thing with credit cards. You know, when you're in college, that's when they entice you and they lure you in. A lot of that behavior was reacting to what was going on with me, my father, and my stepmother at the time. My reaction to what was going on between my parents in terms of the battle that they were having over this child support. But then also the third component was, I think that I was doing all of this mischievous stuff because I was struggling internally with being gay and trying to...
You were just out of order.
I was out of order.
You would be rebellious in your
absolutely.
Instance.
And then that graduated to this ATM bank fraud stuff.
Right, but you know what? That shocked me, Greg. Now, I don't see you as a thief or anything.
Well, you know, he is from Baltimore, so he knows the streets well. He just cleans up nicely.
If you had to give some wisdom to somebody out there that is watching, what would that be?
It would be exactly what one of my high school teachers said to me. She said, stop trying to impress your friends, because these people that you're friends with now, 5 years from now, you probably won't even remember some of their names.
Wow.
And it was so impactful. And when I look back at that, I'm like, wow.
Impactful and true.
And she was right.
Now, Salim is a pivotal person in your life. Tell us about Salim.
He was the first man that I ever really had feelings for. He wasn't the first guy that I dated, but he was the first one that reached a point in my heart, or a place in my heart, that it just changed me and it shaped me. He found out he was HIV positive 2 months after we met. And so every single thing that I had feared came to pass in that one encounter.
In that one moment.
Yeah. I had this idea that I would never date someone that was HIV positive. And here he comes along.
You weren't the one that wanted to take away the love or the support.
Right.
He was the one that was...
Yeah.
That says a lot about love, the power of love,
Yeah.
doesn't it? People who are watching are going to think that you were blinded by love and just irresponsible because you were...
Well, that doesn't mean I was willing to take a risk and put myself at risk. That's the purpose of using protection and things like that, and being knowledgeable. So I armored myself with that knowledge. I went to workshops, AIDS 101, Project Survive. It was a bunch of workshops that would teach you what you can do.
And after all of that support and love, and you're educating yourself, and you wanted to be there for him and supporting him through a difficult time, he still didn't stay.
He still didn't stay.
I started to see the real evolution of Craig Stewart from that point on.
Yeah.
It was like...
It changed me.
Yeah, it was like it's time to grow up moment.
It was the greatest amount of growth in such a short period of time for me.
And that was the point when you decided to write a play.
It was 1999 when this whole thing with Salim happened, and A Day in the Life was born. It's a play that I wrote and produced here in Atlanta, and it's the story of 6 gay characters. And those 6 gay characters, I believe, represent the persona found within gay life. So you have everyone from the most feminine character to the transgender who believes she should have been born a woman, to the minister of music of the church who's struggling to reconcile his spiritual beliefs with his sexuality.
You were writing a controversial play. So
and had no idea.
I had no idea.
I was 26. I couldn't sleep. Some nights. I would wake up and I'd be writing pages and pages.
Then you got to a point where you had someone significant in the entertainment industry recognize the quality and the agenda of the play, and you just knew that you had struck it big.
Yeah.
And it was going to take off.
I did. The show went up. It opened to a sold-out crowd.
And in that sold-out crowd, their set,
Tyler Perry.
It got back to you how well he thought of the play, and he actually invited you to reach out to him to get support for him. And did you get the support you thought you would get? Or?
No, I didn't. I was angry with Tyler because something that someone told you about that show cajoled you to get in your car and come to my rehearsal and to invite me to your house. And so fast forward 2 months after that, when I'm calling you, you treat me like a virtual stranger on the phone. I was just following up. That conversation went from how to get the show on a national tour to whether or not it was right or wrong to begin.
Real Talk with Glenn Bean is proudly sponsored by